Hey everybody and welcome to Mediocre Gamers, where we discuss all things gaming. I'm Caleb and I am joined today by my co-host Crimson.
Hey, what's up?
Due to some scheduling conflicts, RJ isn't able to join us for this week's episode, but we'll be back when he can. Thank you all for understanding. But with that, Bungie has come out with a statement saying that they are going to be changing Eververse, making the game more geared towards gamers and in-game loot rather than their loot boxes and stupid petty greed. I don't know if they're going to deliver this time. I don't know if they're going to try and actually fix anything, or if this is just another apology in a long line of fuck-ups that are just going to continue to unravel. Crimson, what do you think?
Well, it definitely could be another pile of fuck-ups, that's for sure. That is definitely within their bag of fuck-ups. Yep. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I know with the Crimson Days, which is the Valentine's event that they're talking about putting some of these implements in. It could be really good. It could be really just not enough. And I think that's where we're at with Destiny, is just not enough, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too, is that it's like they're spending so much time trying to put out their own fires that they lit, that they're not focusing on giving us new content because they're trying to fix all the things that they fucked up on first, which I would prefer. I want them to fix their fuck ups, but I feel like it's almost too little too late. It's like, hey, we're gonna fix the things that we screwed everybody over on, and everybody's like, I already moved on. I'm sorry. Like I got other fucking games I'm playing now that don't treat me like shit and don't fuck me over every day.
Yeah, and I mean, there is a good game in there somewhere, but who's got the time to dig through it to try to find it? Bungie obviously doesn't.
They didn't. I don't even think they put it in there. I think they said, hey, let's give really, really good gameplay or gunplay and no content, and then just milk everybody for loot boxes. And that's what they did. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm wondering how many slaps on the wrist it's going to take for them to actually fix the game. Because they did this with Destiny 1. You know, they came out with a subpar, unfinished game, and everybody was pissed, and then through DLCs, they fixed it. But we've already had one DLC, and it was shit. And the second one is coming out in, I think, a couple months. I don't even know. I don't keep up with it anymore. But the next one is going to be coming out here pretty soon, and I just don't even care. Like, if it's great, like if it's not
even on my radar,
like if it drops and everybody's talking about, oh my god, it fixed Destiny, maybe, I'll jump in and take a look again. But right now I'm like, I just don't care. I'm playing games that make me happy and are lighter on the wallet, and that helps.
Exactly, and that's the big thing. Lighter on the wallet, just you can still get the same camaraderie that you had in Destiny.
Oh yeah,
elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely. But so I don't know. I'm hopeful, but since we're able to be on the outside looking in, we can kind of say, yeah, I hope they fix it, but it doesn't really affect us anymore because we stopped playing, which at this point I think is a good thing. As much as I want to have that fantastic gunplay again, I can't do it anymore. There's nothing to do. But
yeah, it's boring. It got boring.
But on that note, let's talk about some games that we have been playing that have brought us some joy and haven't dove too far into our wallets. This week has been pretty light for us gaming-wise, so we decided to just talk about the game that's been taking up the most of our time lately. Now, Crimson, you did tell us a bit about World of Warships before. Why don't you tell us why it is your go-to game right now?
This is a game that I've been playing for a very long time, and I tend to come back to it a lot. And it took me a while just sitting here thinking about it, when we were writing these show notes, I was filling this stuff in, and I'm like, what, that was the question that was posed to me in the show notes was, why do I keep coming back to this game? And I think a big portion of that is, there's a lot of little things that are great about the game, but a big portion of it is how they actually treat their customers. And you'd be surprised, but that goes a long way with somebody like me.
Which is funny because we just got done talking about how shitty Bungie and Destiny are right now. It does matter. The way that a company, especially a game developer, treats their customers is a big deal.
Yeah. Now, that's not saying Wargaming hasn't fucked up a lot. Sure. And they have fucked up a lot. You know, there's been times when they had a really bad press and they threatened a copyright notice and the internet blew up at them. And,
holy shit.
You know, this is a company. Yeah. Well, to give you some background information, this is a company from Russia.
Okay.
They're based out of Russia. They are a Russian-based company. Well, the internet is not based in Russia. The internet is based on Earth. So there is always going to be a little bit of a strange culture difference between, you know, the company and the players sometimes. Yeah. And, you know, but the thing is their reaction to that is what really set them apart. You know, they didn't stomp their feet and dig themselves into the mud. They said, hey, look, we're sorry. We didn't realize that was a big, you know, a huge deal, especially towards a YouTuber's life. Mm-hmm. You know, 3 of those and their channel's gone.
Yeah.
And so they really, they backpedaled. They're like, well, we're sorry. We didn't, you know, we didn't understand, you know, this action, you know, type thing. And they only threatened it. They never did it.
Okay.
And they learned from that mistake, which is something you can't say about some companies out there.
Yeah.
So they're not perfect. That I want to make that very clear. Wargaming is not perfect. But they still, with their game, they introduce new things constantly. They're constantly like giving people opportunities to get items in the game that they sell, you know? Literally, like a good example, and this ties into, you know, one of my points on here, is they do events in the game.
Okay.
So for a person who has a couple, you know, medium tier ships, sometimes you need a little higher tier, sometimes you can use lower tier. But if you've been playing the game for, you know, a month or two, you probably have a ship that will fit, that will work for the event. And so they just released the Duke of York. It's a British battleship with a lot of history. Okay. So it's a ship that people want. Well, they release it for sale and it's $50. Well, it's also a ship that people want because of the history of that ship. And there's going to be a lot of people who can't really afford $50. That's a lot of money to drop on a ship. And so what they do is they release an event. At the same time they release the ship, no, that's the key part. They don't release the ship and then 3 weeks later release an event.
Like most games.
I'm just saying.
Most games do.
Yeah, I'm just saying. No, at the same time they release it to the public to buy, they release an event in game. And how their events go is you'll have 5 missions. And each mission will have 9 tasks. So you don't have to complete all 9. You choose the 3 tasks that you want to complete. So you may have a task that says do 90,000 damage with torpedoes.
Okay.
But you may go, well, I don't have a ship that has torpedoes. Well, then you could go do this task instead, which is, you know, set 25 fires to ships. Okay, well, I have a cruiser. I can shoot high explosive ammo at things and light them on fire. Easy. I'll do that task. And then each task has little rewards. So they're basic rewards. They're just like some extra flags or some money or some premium time or something like that. Nothing big. Okay. But it gives you 2 stars. Well, to complete that first mission, you need 6 stars. So you do 3 tasks. You complete the mission. You move to mission 2. And then you just keep doing that until mission 5. And they generally do get harder as you go up. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and the thing is, you'll be playing with friends usually. So you'll be like, hey, look, I really need a DD kill. Let me kill that destroyer. Mm-hmm. So, and they're like, yeah, go for it, man. You take out the destroyer. You kill the destroyer. You complete your task. You're like, look, I got this big, awesome ship.
Okay.
But look, I just got a free ship. That's a $50 ship. But here's the thing they also do. They also go, well, say you bought the Duke of York because you didn't want to go through that grind, maybe. Or maybe you just wanted the Duke of York the day it came out. Maybe it's your favorite ship. I was like that with the Warspite, which is another British battleship.
I gotcha.
I was like, no, I gotta have the Warspite, man. That's a Queen Elizabeth beauty. Yep. I love the Warspite. So say you bought the Duke of York. Well, you could still do that campaign. If you do that campaign, at the end of it, instead of getting another Duke of York, because you can't have two of them, it gives you a camouflage, like a unique skin for the Duke of York.
Okay.
So this way, the people who don't want to spend any money, they can still get the ship. The people who did spend money, they can still do this campaign and get, a different skin on their ship.
Now, how long is the event? Like, how long does it take for you to get that ship?
Usually the events last 15 days. Most people can complete it in seven days.
Okay.
So they're up there for about 2 weeks, and then a normal person will probably take a week to complete it.
So it is a long grind to get it.
Yes, but here's the thing that's really interesting about the way they do it. Is there's a couple interesting things about their grind or their campaign. Is first off, you're still going to be doing what you would do normally.
Okay.
You're still going to be playing World of Warships. The difference is you may go, okay, well, I want to do that torpedo task. Well, I don't normally play destroyers. Well, this gives people the, a lot of times you'll see people play a class that they might not have played normally.
Okay.
And it's really nice giving them that ability to, hey, look, try this out. You might like it.
Kind of pushes people out of their comfort zone to play something that they haven't played.
Exactly. And it actually works really nicely because, like me, I was a cruiser player, but I think it was one of those tasks that made me play destroyers. And I love destroyers now. I have a fun time in them. Now, granted, it was a little hard at first until I got used to it. And that kind of brings me to a third point in my thing. And I know I haven't even got to point one, but we'll go out of order.
Well,
here.
I do have one question about the tiers. Yeah. For the listeners who don't quite know how those work, is it like if I'm running a tier 1 because I'm, just starting the game, do I get thrown in with tier 7 people because they've been playing longer? Or is the matchmaking or the game modes kind of geared towards like, this is only tier 1 or this is only tier 5s?
How they do their tiers is, so it goes 1 to 10. And what matchmaking will do is it will never put you always have a 2-tier difference.
Okay.
So if you jump in with a tier 4, you may end up playing against tier 6 people. Or you may end up playing against, tier 3 people. The difference is, like, even if you are the low tier, so say this happens to me all the time at the high tiers. So say I join a tier 8 game with my New Orleans cruiser.
Okay.
Well, most likely because tier 10s, they can't go above. They always get paired down or with other tier 10s. Most likely I'm going to end up in a game with tier 10s. So what that does is it makes me choose my targets more wisely. Because of the layout of the game, it's not like Call of Duty where, I run into this person, I'm dead. It's more like, well, I get to see the other end of the map. I know there's a Yamato over there on that side of the map. I'm going to go this way.
Okay, so it makes it more strategic for you, and you're not going to get paired too low or too high, so it keeps the balance relatively in sync.
Right.
But if you do see somebody that is a tier or however many that it will go to higher than you, you basically will try to avoid them and let your higher tier teammates try to focus them down, I assume.
Right. Or, and again, each class is also different. So say you're in a cruiser and you're low tier. Well, then what you're going to do is probably play different than if you were high tier. You're probably going to sit back with the battleships and cover them with anti-air fire.
Okay.
So, because your anti-air is still good, and instead of loading armor-piercing bullets, you might load high-explosive bullets. They don't do a lot of damage, but they have a chance to set a target on fire, which will do dot damage.
Okay.
So, you'll sit back there with, say, an Iowa or Yamato, and you're covering for any dive bombers coming in, and you're still going to be shooting your high explosives, lighting targets on fire, kind of harassing them a little bit, since you have cruisers have really fast, high rate of fire. But say you were high tier in a cruiser, well, most likely what you're going to do is you're going to be much more aggressive. You're going to hunt down destroyers because you can kill destroyers real easily. And destroyers kill battleships real easily. So it's that rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. So even if you are a lower tier, if you are the weakness to, if you're the rock to their scissors, then you'll still have a really solid chance.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. There's still always a chance because you're not being paired too high up. Is it frustrating being a tier 8 in a tier 10 game? Yes.
I would imagine.
Because you see a lot of Yamatos, and Yamatos can pretty much delete you in a cruiser.
Now, is the Yamato like the ship?
It's just big.
Okay.
It is a nasty beast.
Okay.
I mean, it's got the biggest... It has the biggest guns in the game, and they're 18.1-inch guns.
Shit.
Never been a ship with bigger guns.
Does it have the biggest button? Does it work?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, there's so much strategy. If you're in an Iowa or a Montana, a Montana is just an Iowa with an extra turret. Okay. It can penetrate a Yamato. A Yamato can penetrate it. If the angling is right, if the Yamato's going broadside, you can penetrate that armor. But if the Yamato's coming straight at you, you're probably not going to penetrate it, which means you have to be smart and go, I'm going to change my angle and try to get around to the side of that person. The difference is, and this is the one thing that the Yamato has, now the Yamato takes longer to reload. It has the biggest guns in the world, so it also has the longest reload. Okay. The Yamato's guns can actually penetrate any ship in the game from the front.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they're big guns. But they also fire really slowly.
Okay.
Yamato has great secondaries, so, if a cruiser comes up to it, the cruiser's getting just destroyed by its secondaries. And so it's very chessy-like,
okay.
And each ship is super unique. I mean, there's hundreds of ships in the game, and they're just all very unique. A Cleveland class cruiser is going to be different than a Des Moines class cruiser. Cleveland class is a light cruiser. It shoots rapid fire, and it likes to put things on fire. The Des Moines likes to shoot a little bit slower, even though it has an auto reload, an auto loading gun. It shoots a little bit slower, but it's got bigger guns, so it hits harder. It may not use heat or high explosives. It may use armor piercing because its guns are bigger and it can pierce.
I gotcha.
So yeah, every little thing's different. Each ship has its advantages and weaknesses. And now there's broader ones, like Japanese destroyers have the really good torpedoes and shitty guns. American destroyers have really shitty torpedoes and really good guns.
Okay.
And then, German battleships have really good secondaries. They have smaller main guns, but they got really good secondaries. They can brawl, which means they can get close and let their secondaries kill ships. Where like the British have really good armor and heals. The battleships get a heal in the game.
Oh, okay.
So they can live long. I mean, it's not surprising to see a British battleship be the last ship on the map because they can heal so well and they have such good armor. And everyone's like that. Just like the American carriers have great planes. They just got less of them. The Japanese have shitty planes, but they have so many of them.
Okay.
It really comes down to a play style. And I love that aspect that all the ships are unique and special in their own right. You really go, well, I want to play this ship because I want to do this. Not, I want to play this ship because I have nothing else to do.
I gotcha.
And I like that.
And that's pretty cool because it offers it's a delicate balance because when you're trying to balance but also make all of these, you said it's over 100 ships?
Oh, yeah, easily.
Okay, so over 100 ships trying to make each one different from the others. And that's tough. That's tough from just from a gamer's perspective, but it's also difficult from a developer's perspective of having to sit here and go, okay, we just came out with another carrier. What the hell gimmick do we give it to where it's different from all the others, but still a carrier? So I really have to applaud a developer that can do that. Because we've seen, balancing issues for almost every game out there. I mean, there's some great games that do very well with balancing different classes and vehicles and stuff like that. But to try and balance over 100 different ships and all make them unique too, that's a feat.
Yeah, it really is. A good example, nothing's perfect. Like, sometimes you get an overpowered ship. So, as an example, the Kuchar is a Russian cruiser, and it is considered pretty overpowered. It's probably one of the strongest Tier 8 cruisers in the game. Does that mean it's undefeatable? No, because it's a cruiser, and you can still shoot it. You can still one-shot it with a big ship.
Okay.
But it has rapid fire. It can light you on fire. It has a smoke screen, so it can create a smoke screen and make it harder to see it, and then shoot you. It's an annoying ass ship. Well, it was a premium ship, so it was a ship that you would buy.
Okay.
So what they do, and this is something that I really like about wargaming, is because people have spent real money on this ship, they don't try to nerf it first. The first thing wargaming does is when they see a ship that may be causing problems, they remove it off the market. Unlike in other games where they go, here, buy it. It's OP. Give us your money. No, they say, look, we're not going to sell this anymore because there may be problems with it. We need to look at it and take a look at it.
So they did the opposite of what Blizzard and Bungie do. Where,
exactly.
Bungie goes, hey, we released a new hero in Heroes of the Storm, and they're OP as fuck. Give us $10. And then they nerf them.
Exactly.
And Bungie goes,
so this ship,
hey, the lens is broken. Well, instead of us taking it away, we're giving it to everyone.
Yeah. So they removed this Kuchar off of the market. Mm-hmm. And then, so that creates one of two things. One, it means there's less people that have it. Just in general. So you see it a little less. They chose not to nerf it because they feel with the amount of people that actually own one, it is lower to see them. Now, Wargaming you can still technically get the Kuchar in the game. What Wargaming does is they don't have, loot boxes you buy. But they do sort of have loot boxes.
Okay.
So when you play the game, you earn experience. When you earn this much experience, usually after the first game for me anyways, you get a box, and you can choose, well, do I want more credits, in-game credits? Do I want some consumable items to put on my ship? That sort of thing. It kind of just helps you get some of those things that you need for your ship without having, just as a little reward saying, here you go. All those boxes have a chance to turn into a super container and contain any premium ship in the game.
Oh.
Now, it's rare. I probably get one super container a month, and I get 3 boxes per day. Your maximum is 3 boxes per day. Okay. So the odds are so low, but they still allow people to still get it, to chase for it out of that, by just playing the game.
Now, will they be putting it back on the market?
They have decided to permanently remove it from the market.
Okay, so it was enough of a problem for them to remove the ability to buy it, but that it's not so much of a problem child that they had to nerf it. Now, that is a little bit of an odd ruling for me.
Right. I think they did it that way because they didn't want to nerf it, because they really don't like to nerf ships that people paid real money for.
And
for obvious reasons.
And I totally understand that. That is where a delicate balance comes in, though, where you start favoring the people who spent real money. And in this case,
yes.
it doesn't, but it's in a weird way, because they're like, well, we're just going to take that ship out of circulation. But I would like to, if I wanted to own that ship, I would have, maybe paid that money, but I can't now. And it's
Correct.
kind of that weird issue of, okay, so you don't want to nerf premium content because people paid money for it, but the people who didn't pay money for it are at a disadvantage. So I applaud them for their take on how to balance that, of basically removing it from circulation so that there is a drastically lower number or a lower chance of facing it. But as you were saying, it's an annoying ship, but you can still one-shot it. And I feel like maybe that's more of a playstyle tweak rather than an actual overpowered problem.
Right. And here's where the second part comes in. Generally, I would say they probably have removed about 40 premium ships from the game. So
holy shit.
They like to do that. Even if the ship isn't, overpowered, they like to remove it. They might put it back on sale later. That type of thing. They like to rotate the ships that you can buy. It makes sense, from a business standpoint.
Yeah, if you own it, can you still use it?
Okay,
yeah, so they just remove it from the store.
Yeah, they like to rotate it.
That sounds good. That sounds like a great idea, because then it rotates what people are buying.
Exactly. So you're not seeing the same ship every day. But here's the other thing that they do. When they do remove a ship due to overpoweredness, maybe, they generally replace it with another ship. This ship, so you can think of this ship as, if they nerfed it, this is what it would be.
Oh, okay.
But it's a new ship with a new name. It may still be the same class, may still be in the same, it could still be another Kuchar style ship, but maybe it's from a different year. So it's a couple years early before they had the retrofit. Okay. So it allows people, okay, well, I want that ship. I like that playstyle. Well, you can still buy it. It's just you're not buying the OP version. The OP version's gone.
I gotcha.
They have done that with probably about 15 of the ships that they have removed for OPness. So it is nice that, hey, I can still, it is a different name because they got to do different names for the ships. But I like that aspect of, well, this ship was a little overpowered. Well, let's not nerf it. Let's remove it from buying, and let's nerf it, change the name, and then release this one for sale. That's very similar, but maybe the torpedoes don't have an 8-kilometer range. They have a 7-kilometer range. Maybe that was the reason why the ship was OP or something. Maybe the torpedoes went too far. And So that's kind of what they do. Like with the Kuchar, maybe it's because it was firing too fast, or maybe the smoke. The smoke was actually, that is the reason why the Kuchar is OP, because it has smoke. It's one of 2 cruisers in the entire game that have smoke. Normally, smoke is a destroyer thing. So they have another premium tier 8 cruiser. It's very similar.
Okay.
Just doesn't have smoke. So if you want smoke, go find a DD friend and have him light smoke up for you to sit in.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, the last point is much quicker. It's just the game's slower paced.
Okay.
You know, it's a game where it's like you're seeing the map. You have your team over here. You have islands and land masses here. You know, it's going to take about 3 minutes before any ships get close to each other, and those are usually the faster ships, so they don't have the bigger guns. Mm-hmm. And a match is going to take you about 15 minutes, and it's just slow. Like, you know, say you're in a battleship. You're going to target a ship. You're going to try to figure out how fast he's going. You're going to lead the ship that far, and you're going to fire. And it's going to take you 30 seconds to reload your weapons. 30 seconds is a lifetime.
Damn.
That would be like playing Call of Duty and, having a rocket launcher, and it takes you 30 seconds to reload,
Yeah, Call of Duty
it is
with
much
muskets.
Slower pace. Yeah, pretty much. But it is entertaining, and there is hectic moments, and it's fun. And because of those campaigns and those rewards for playing, it does keep me coming back. And that's one of the reasons why I keep coming back to World of Warships.
And that's really cool, because it seems like they reward you for your time. And I think that's been kind of our complaint over the past couple of months.
With other games.
With other games, they do not give you rewards. They don't reward you for the time spent, specifically. They don't go...
No, they reward you for your money spent.
Yes. And even when they do reward you for time spent, it's like, okay, you dumped 5 hours into this event, into this game, into this whatever. Well, here's a fancy patch for your armor. It's like, I don't... That was 5 hours. That's a whole Destiny.
Yeah, that's a whole 2 expansions.
Yeah, that's base game, expansion 1, and maybe even 2 rolled in there if you rush. That's a whole AAA $60 game. But that's what irritates me, and that's why I'm appreciating kind of stumbling on these games that have a lot of content and that reward the players when they go, I'm going to spend a week playing this event. Cool. You get a $50 ship. It is a long grind. That is a very long grind, but it gives you a tangible reward that you can either pay real money for, or you can grind it out for a week and get it. But it seems like it feels like a real reward. It's not, hey, here's something you're going to out-level in 5 minutes. It's, here's a new ship that you can play forever.
Exactly. It's yours to keep forever. And they do that, and not just with ships. They do that with commanders.
Nice.
Like right now, I'm working on getting a very historic Japanese commander. I think he was the commander of the Yamato.
Okay.
And, since he's a special commander, he will get a little extra special abilities. But this is something that anybody can do. Now, that particular campaign doesn't have a time limit. It will end, but it's not like it's been up there for 6 months now.
Okay.
So it's not like you need to get it right now type thing. And they will usually give you a warning. Like, they're removing the Missouri from the tech tree. Which is a ship you can earn in game using free XP.
Okay.
They're going to be replacing it with the Yamato's sister ship, the Musashi.
Okay.
So at that point, you literally could go, well, I want that Musashi. Okay, I will wait. Or like me, I'm like, no, I want that fucking Missouri. I want that Missouri so bad.
Gotcha.
So I end up grinding, getting the Missouri. Here's the thing, is they told us this like 3 weeks ago. And Missouri's still not going away for another 2 months.
So they give you really
a big heads
That's
up.
a big warning. I like that, though. I like when they don't go, hey, you now have a week to farm something that you can't get in a week.
Right, exactly. They're like, look, we just want to give you guys a heads up. And the other thing that they said, very pacifically, is like, we're not permanently removing the Missouri. We will keep the Musashi up for a year, and then we will take the Musashi down and put the Missouri back up for a year.
Nice.
We're just going to rotate those two ships every year.
Okay. That's cool.
So, yeah, and I like it. I like it a lot. And both those ships are incredibly good to have because they make a lot of in-game currency, which is silver.
Okay.
Which you use to buy mods to fit onto your ship and stuff. And so they're a great ship to have just for farming up some in-game currency.
Nice. That's really cool. I don't know if it's quite my game, but I may actually look into this because, like you said, it's slower paced, it rewards players, everything's unique. That sounds like something I would like to play. I don't know if the warship aspect or the, vehicle heavy gameplay is my style, but it does seem like something I would like to give a try.
I'll tell you what I can do is over the next week I will record some gameplay of me playing.
All right.
And I'll throw it up on our Mediocre Gamers with maybe a little bit of commentary and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you can definitely check it out. For people out there who are also interested, I highly suggest going to YouTube and searching for the Mighty Jingles.
Okay. He
is a old British Navy guy, and he is hilarious, and I love his videos. He is... Even when I didn't play World of Warships, I still watched his videos. That's how entertaining he is as a person.
Awesome. And we can post a link.
He will say funny stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
We can post a link down below with the rest of our stuff in the description, so definitely look at that, and I will actually be looking at that as well.
Yeah, and my greatest thing is, he's like, don't call me sir, I work for a living. That's just my favorite little line that he says once in a while.
Nice.
Because he's an old sailor, he's an old Navy guy.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and he goes into the history of the ships too. If anybody is interested in seeing gameplay or just seeing history on older ships, he's a great person to watch.
Okay, awesome.
And I'll post some videos too this next week.
Awesome. Well, that sounds great. Definitely going to give World of Warships a look. And again, if anybody wants to jump in and play with us, jump on our Discord. There will be a link in the description below. And maybe we can get a group together and play some.
And on that note, if you see me in the Discord and I'm not in the channels, I do play with a group of people in World of Warships, so I may be in their voice channel over there on their Discord. Send me a message on Discord. I'll see it no matter where I'm at on Discord, and I can reply to it, bring you over, and we can play games. Definitely.
Yep, same here. Awesome. Well, on that note, I've been playing The Division a lot. That's been my game.
This is a good game.
It has been a pretty good game, and it has gotten so much better. And I talked about it a little bit on the last episode, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it and just repeat myself from last week. But the content is there. I mean, there's so much to do. There's so much to do that I have been staying up with my parents, mind you, who are gamers, my elderly parents, who have been playing this game with me until 5 a.m.
Holy smokes, dude.
We have lost so much sleep over this game. This is my destiny. It's that game where but the difference being that I'm not sitting there going, okay, I need to grind out more public events. I need to grind out this. I need to do more Nightfalls. I need to do whatever to get this loot. It's, hey guys, do you want to try out this new thing called the Underground? Because we just got the DLC. And it's basically riffs from Diablo 3. You choose what you want to do, the difficulty, how many phases you want to do, which are basically like how many objectives. And each objective is about 15 minutes. And you basically roll in. It gives you a randomly generated subway system. You go and explore it. You complete the objectives. At the end, you fight a big boss. You kill him. He drops a shitload of loot. And then you go and open a chest at the end, and it'll give you an item. Now, the item out of the chest...
This is something that I'm looking forward to the most, too.
This has been a blast.
This is up my alley.
Yeah, and I as soon as we started playing it, because I'm like, okay, it's basically Rifts from Diablo. Let's get it. Let's try it. Let's see. It's a blast. It is better than Rifts in Diablo, because... It gives you a really intense feeling. It's not, hey, I'm going to roll in there and I'm going to mash my, Q ability or my 1 ability or whatever and just explosion and kill everything. It's like, oh, hey, I've seen this room before. And it's not randomly generated as in, like, everything is random, but it's like, hey, this...
Tetris.
Yes, it's like this room is going to be the next one. And then this one, and then this one, and this one. And then the next round, those will all be jumbled up in a different way. And so you'll come into a room maybe in a different angle, maybe through a different door, and you'll be like, oh, I think this is that one room where we all wiped last time. And it's like, wait a minute, this looks a little different, though. Oh, that's the door we came out of the last time. It's across the way. So it does give you a randomization, but what is really intense are the things called hunters. These guys are dicks. Oh my god. So 1.8 just dropped.
Are these like champ packs?
These are worse. These are the most terrifying enemies in the entire fucking game. And I do not use that lightly. Because you will face bosses that have ballistic shields where you have to flank them and do all this crazy shit. You've got engineers that will throw up turrets and hack your turrets and hack your med packs to use them against you. You got a whole bunch of stuff like that. Hunters are a whole nother demon completely. Hunters are a very rare spawn that coming out from 1.8 appear in Survival, Resistance, and the Underground. So Resistance is basically Horde mode. Survival is this weird PvP mode that I'm not even going to bother with. And then the Underground is the Rifts. So what they do is, this is an actual instance that happened to us. We got to the boss of one of these Underground missions. We killed the boss. It literally said, kill these guys. Cool. Next wave. Boss comes out, it says, eliminate hostiles goes away, and it says, eliminate this named guy, that's the boss. We kill him, that objective goes away, and then it says, eliminate hostiles again. And we're like, what the fuck? Did this glitch or something? And 3 dudes come busting out of this door with these, like, heavy riot gear and these, like, wicked Jason-looking masks. They play like real players. It feels like players just invaded your game and beat your ass. These guys have skills, so they can drop med packs, they can throw turrets, they can hack your turrets, they have player skills. They also react like players. If you throw a grenade, they will actually roll out of the way, they will flank. If you are behind cover and they have you pinned, they will rush you. And they have an auto takedown. It's basically a taser. They will, if they rush you and you can't get away from them, they will knock you down instantly, and then they will make an action to cut your throat. They are literally bounty hunters. Except they're after the Division agents, which is what you play as. So they actually have the Division watches, which is the glowing orange ring. They have them as trophies hanging from their chest and from their bags. Like, these guys are... These guys are fucking terrifying. But they roll out... They have med kits. They have 3 med kits apiece. So if you are trying to focus them down, they can heal themselves in combat. Dude, it gets crazy. But...
Oh, that sounds so fun.
They are terrifying, and you have to actually come up with a strategy on the fly when those guys come out, because they are a random spawn. And they can come from anywhere. If you are in the middle of an objective and you're like, oh, blah, 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 I'm turning on this generator and I'm defending it, it'll say, it'll do like a audio cue of such and such hostiles are incoming. And you're like, what the hell is that? And then you'll just see them bust out of a door and you're like, well, we're dead. We have not killed a single one and we've been ambushed by them twice.
Holy
and they don't even have armor. They are basically... they are an elite, so they are a yellow health bar, but they don't have armor. So it's basically like a player on player. They have the same stats as a player.
And they don't have a weak point?
Head. I mean, shoot them in the face. But they don't have like a traditional weak point like shooting the gas tanks on a cleaner or the grenade bag on a grenadier, that sort of stuff. But if you kill them, they have an extremely high chance to drop exotics and classified gear, which is the highest rarity gear in the game. And to explain how rare that stuff is, we have been playing, I think I've got 70 hours on the game. I have personally had 2 red items drop. My dad has gotten 1, and my mom has gotten 1. We have seen 2 classified items drop, period. That's how hard those things are to get. So if you get to where you can attack a group of hunters, if they spawn and you can kill them, you can get really good drops. But they are a pain.
Oh, that sounds really fun.
It is so fun. So you definitely need to... We need to get you up to level 30 so that you can start running this shit with us, because we need a 4th anyway. It is hard. But... that's the kind of content that this game gives you. And so we kind of got not burned out on the underground, but we're like, you know what? Let's mess around with some more stuff. So we went to Westside Piers, which is the new zone that they gave us for resistance and new PvP mode and stuff like that. And we just had like a little quest, and it was like, hey, Westside Piers quest, enemies are amassing, or enemies are popping up, or whatever. And it's like, all right, whatever. Well, while we're here, we're picking up cell phones and laptops and stuff to get boatloads of experience. We're like, let's go ahead and do this. So we go in there, and it spawns like 40 dudes. We get the shit kicked out of us like 3 times. We respawn, we go back there, we finally clear it out. Dudes are dropping set items, high-end gear, which is the yellows, basically legendary items. They're dropping this shit like every 2 guys are dropping stuff. I mean, It is literally a loot pinata in the Westside Piers. It is fucking stupid. And it's great, because you're sitting there and you're like, okay, well, we've did this, we're doing resistance, we're doing underground, we're screwing around trying to clean up some side quests. And then we walk in here and it's like, holy crap, I can kill 5 dudes and get 3, legendary items.
Yeah, I think I've found, 3 blues?
Yeah.
Altogether?
Yeah. And see, those are just rare. And that's the other issue, is that you don't really get good loot just doing, side quests and the story missions. And that is a complaint that I have, that you don't even get, purples. And the first purple I ever saw was actually in the Dark Zone. But when you get to max level, it switches the loot tables. So you don't really get... I haven't seen a green in ages. You do not get greens or blues at level 30.
Okay.
You only get high-end... you get some purples, which are superiors. Superiors, high-ends, set items, and then exotics and classifieds are very rare. But it just kind of shows you how drastic and in the scope of things, how much content you have and how many options you have at max level. But, go ahead.
Now, let me guess, though. You could probably only wear 1 classified item, right? For balance sake.
Classified items are actually weird. Classified items are upgraded set items. So every set has a 4-piece bonus. And so let's say the one that I've been using is the Riot Shield one, because it's just so fucking fun. So when you use the Riot Shield, it has a bunch of health, and it increases your threat and damage resistance. You basically become a tank. But you can only use your sidearm, which is your pistol or a sawed-off shotgun, which kind of sucks. The 4-piece bonus for the defense set, the 2-piece bonus gives you like protection from elites, which are the yellow bar guys, which is what you see on tier 5 and challenging difficulty and stuff like that. So that's great. The 3-piece, I cannot remember what it gives you. It's nothing really that big of a deal. And then the 4-piece allows you to use a submachine gun with your shield.
Oh.
Which is a game changer.
Oh, so they do like kind of like Diablo does, where the set bonuses will change how you play a character.
Your sets determine your playstyle. And the thing is that there's no classes. Awesome. Your classes are basically dependent on your gear set. So there's no, I make a character and this character is going to be a cleric, or this character is going to be a warrior, or this character is going to be a rogue. You get all of the skills, all the talents, and all the perks by the end of the game. Like, you will have to do side quests and stuff to get all the points, but you will have access to everything. Well, in 1.8, they also gave us loadouts, so you can actually save skills, talents, and weapons and item sets as loadouts. And it will even rip mods out of your other guns and put them into your loadout weapons. And then when you switch back, it'll pull the mods out of that and put it in your other loadout weapons. So they did great with it.
Nice.
But what the, let's take Striker, because that's one I actually remember. The Striker set is all about damage. Basically, when you do damage, you get a dot or a buff that when you do damage, you do more damage. And it's like every hit gives you 1% extra damage that stacks up to 100%, I think. So, but when you miss, it takes percentage off. And it has like a 10-second timer or something like that. So if you don't shoot anything in 10 seconds, the buff completely goes away. So it's literally deal damage to deal more damage. Pretty straightforward. That's the 4-piece bonus. And the 2-piece is like 20% stability, and the 3-piece is something I can't remember, because you're focusing on the 2-piece and the 4-piece usually. Because you can only equip 6 items, 6 gear pieces. So you can have a 4-piece set and a 2-piece set. Well, the classifieds are a 6-piece set. So it gives you a 5-piece and a 6-piece bonus. So the Striker is like the 5-piece gives you like a accuracy bonus, or another stability bonus, or +1 grenade, or whatever. But the 6-piece says when you're getting those buffs, so that 1% buff also gives you a point 1.0 or a 0.010, something like that, health regeneration, which is huge because it's in combat. So
that's
when you're dealing damage, you're dealing more damage, the more damage that you deal, and you're healing yourself.
So it's kind of like a life leech.
It's kind of like life leech. And it's actually kind of broken, because I've seen a couple of videos of people going in the dark zone and using that Striker build and just stacking toughness so they have shitloads of health. Oh, because it is a percentage of max health is what you regenerate. So the more health you have, the more health you heal. And I've seen guys take out a team of 4 solo with that Striker build.
Dude, I'd like stuff like that. In fact, I really like that aspect, because when I played, I'm still low level in the game, even though I started playing first. Somebody just plays more than me. But, you would have like some little traits on some of your weapons, but they were never that big. You could switch out your weapon. It was more what feels better to use. And I like that. I like the set idea. I wish they'd give you some early game sets. That way you can kind of see them early in the game versus having to wait till later. Yeah. But that's really interesting.
Yeah, and that is actually a complaint that I had, was that the content, the early game content, the 1 to 30 stuff, the storyline stuff, all of that, it feels a little lackluster because you're not gaining gear that is important. You're not gaining gear that says, hey, this is my playstyle.
WoW.
Kind of, yeah. And see, Diablo did it a little bit better, though, because you can get legendaries at like level 15.
And then, put them in your Project Cube and still use that effect.
Exactly.
But yeah, by the time you hit 70, it's like, oh, well, those legendaries might as well just destroy
Exactly. But you still got to enjoy them and mess with them at a lower level. And with this, you're like, I have the shittiest gear possible until I hit level 30 or I go into the Dark Zone. So that is a complaint that I have, is that the early game stuff is fun and it's way better with friends. But the game it's like a second game when you hit 30. And I know a lot of people will say that about a lot of different games. Oh, the game doesn't start until you're 30. No, it feels like there's a second game. Like when you hit 30, the gear completely changes, the drops completely change, half the map opens up to you, the underground, so you can do rifts, you can do resistance mode, you can do survival, the Dark Zone turns into a dumpster fire, unfortunately. The Dark Zone is only fun before you hit 30. Once you hit 30, you might as well never go in there. Because it puts you in weird brackets. And I talked about this last week but the brackets are kind of wide. So once you hit 30, items stop having a level requirement and they gain gear score. And it's literally power level in Destiny. It is the higher the gear score of an item, the better it usually is. So, like if you've got like a 285, chess piece, that's insane. That's one of the highest I've ever seen. But that's kind of how it works. And with the set pieces, it means that you have to start balancing, gear score with your build, which is what I had to do. I had to use a very low level holster because it was the only defense holster that I had. So my gear score was like 262 instead of 274, which is what it is now. So it has that kind of balance. Now, gear score doesn't affect a whole lot of things other than it just basically shows
Dark Zone.
That, and just like in normal PvE, it's just the higher your gear score, the better your overall power. But it doesn't feel like it has a ton of weight behind it. It's not like, oh my god, I've got to get to 290. Destiny. Also, I haven't seen any content that is locked behind gear score. Other than some Dark Zone bracketing stuff, I have not seen anything that is gated. Also, like, my parents are a little bit lower gear score. My mom is actually the highest gear score. She's 275 and has been for like 3 days. Like, she has the best stuff. But her build is really cool too, because it's all about lighting people on fire. She has a gear set that makes her flame turret deal more damage, have longer range, and the 4-piece bonus is she deals 15% more damage to enemies that are on fire. Very simple. So she uses the Seeker Mine, or the Seeker Grenade, which does a massive incendiary explosion and lights everybody on fire, and then she's got a flame turret. And it has that kind of MMO light gameplay with a heavy focus on co-op play and strategy. So I like playing the tank or the medic. Well, my dad likes playing the sniper medic kind of combo. So he'll take the turret and the med bag. And anybody that takes the med bag usually takes the mod for it, that it will revive anyone that is in it. So if you go down, it will just revive you. And that's very strong, because somebody's, down 10 feet away. You can't run over there and get them. You can throw a bag to them, though. And it has a...
Yeah, and I like playing the medic, too. That's what my character is. It predominantly focuses on the medic character, too.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, I just like being able to stay alive longer.
And one of the gear sets that I use, because I use the tank set, which is the ballistic shield. My other set that I use is, I can't remember what it's called, but it is the medic kit, basically. The 4-piece bonus gives your support station, is what it's called. It's the medic bag, but it's called the support station.
Yeah.
It gives you all of the mods. So it revives everyone that's within it, inside of it. Anybody who is shooting inside of it does not use ammo.
Ooh.
And they are immune to all status effects. It's huge.
That's nice.
It's huge. And the 2-piece and 3-piece increase its range and increase its duration. So it is the medic. But that's the fun thing that I have with it, is that MMO light aspect, the strategic co-op play. The setting and attention to detail is honestly second to none for me, especially for just recent games. The amount of effort that they put into the dystopian post-apocalyptic New York is honestly baffling to me. Dude, go ahead.
I agree. The atmosphere of that game is by far some of the best atmospheric in any games that I've seen. It feels good. It looks right. I mean, other than maybe some interactive with the world and the boxes, but for the most part, it feels good. I enjoy the atmosphere of that game a lot.
Me too. And I catch myself just kind of getting mesmerized by just the like graphical detail, because like I don't have my settings up really high because my desktop is pretty old, but it still plays it. But when it starts to actually have a blizzard, because it has weather effects, so you'll have you'll have overcast, you will have light snow, you'll have all sorts of stuff. But when it blizzards at night, because it also has a day and night cycle, when it blizzards at night, it is almost terrifying, because all you can see is kind of the glow of the streetlights. And you'll just stumble upon a group of dudes and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm surrounded and I don't know where to go because I can't see the nearest vehicle to take cover. What do I do? Like, there is an actual panic, but it's so beautiful because of that snow and the street lights and the street signs and just, and all of the different zones feel different. They don't look the same. You'll go down a street and you're like, wow, that looks like downtown. You know, it's got the kind of cool shops and the weird like corner market and stuff like that. And then you'll go to a neighborhood, or you'll be running through, you know, the backyards of kind of the slums type area. And, you know, there's, you know, like clothes hanging on the clotheslines and these like makeshift fences. And there was one street that we went down that was literally filled with garbage, like garbage bags stacked halfway up the buildings. It was weird and gross and awesome. Like,
yeah. Oh. And the ambience in that game, like the chitter chatter from the people up in the windows and stuff like that. It feels good. It's a great game.
It is.
I mean, it's a highly recommended game for anybody to play, especially when you can get it on the sale for the $20 whenever they do any kind of sales. Yes. It's super worth it. I've enjoyed the
Speaking of the sales, Humble Bundle is actually doing their winter sale. So they're actually starting theirs a lot later, but it is on there, and you can get the gold edition, which comes with the season pass for 30, I think, 32, which is a hell of a deal because it's regular price like $80. And I think you can get the game for 17. So, and the Underground DLC, which is the only one you actually need, is like $6 on there. It is highly worth it. Now, there are a few things that I want to touch on that I did not like or that are bad, and that is the gunplay could definitely use some work, but with all of the other aspects of the game, it doesn't feel like it matters as much. You'll get used to it and you'll enjoy it.
Right.
But
it's an MMO, not a first-person.
Exactly, and you have to get into the mindset that it is an MMO or an RPG. It is kind of like Fallout 3. You go into Fallout 3, you're like, hey, this is a first-person shooter. It is not. You're lying to yourself, and you're going to be really unhappy and disappointed. It is an RPG that is first-person and uses guns.
Yep, I was there. I remember when we first started playing Fallout 3, I was like, this game's total shit. And you're like, no, you're playing it wrong, bro.
I hated that game because I couldn't shoot anything in the fucking face. And then I go, wait a minute. Let me try a couple of different things. Let me put a different mindset in on this. And I'm like, oh, wait, this game's fucking great. But it's not a first-person shooter. And The Division is not a third-person shooter. It is an MMO with guns. But it does have, for being an MMO with guns, it has really good gameplay and shooting mechanics. Now, there are hackers in the Dark Zone. And that ruins a lot of things because you go and spend the time and effort to get the gear and try to extract, and then you go up against a guy who can't be killed, and then he just fucking spawn camps you. That has happened to me.
Yep. Because we can't have nice
Because we can't have nice things. So, and again, that happened after I hit level 30. The Dark Zone's not that fun. I've changed my tune on that because we have gone in there and dealt with a bunch of fucking assholes, and that is where the assholes come out, is max level, because they get the best gear and then they go and they grief you. So take that with a grain of salt. You may have a little bit better time, but if you don't go in with a 3 or 4 person group, there is no point in going in there after level 30. Under that, you can have a ton of fun. Even up to level 29, you can have a ton of fun and get some really good shit. But it gets real dicey after that. The storytelling, the voice acting, that is pretty garbage. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even gonna mince words here. It almost takes you out of the atmosphere because it has a great plot. Go ahead.
It's a little stiff.
It is. And it's not stiff to the point of being like, oh my god, this is shit and I hate it. It's like, it's stiff to the point you're like, that could have been done a lot better and I would have felt something from it. But the plot is great. The plot is it's engaging.
Yeah.
Like
it is.
Like it's
plausible.
It is. It's smallpox that's put on money during Black Friday. And it's like, holy fuck, that's awful and could happen. And but the plot goes deeper than that. There's I don't want to spoil anything, but there are a little bit of light spoilers. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear it, but there are, rogue agents from the Division and that sort of stuff, and that you have to deal with that in the storyline, and you have some really cool boss fights and some really cool narrative in that. And I'm like, okay, there is a story in here. Show it to me. And, WoW does such a great job of storytelling through an MMO kind of medium. And I want to see, because the current state and the future of this game is really great. The current state is solid. They've done a lot of stuff to it. But what I'm really happy about is that they are doing another year of DLC for this game. They are going to continue to support it. What they have said, though, is that there will be no paid DLC this year. All the DLC this year is going to be free, and it is supposed to have a narrative focus. So,
nice.
This game started off as shit, and it has done nothing but get better, and I actually believe them when they say, look, we hear that everybody wants more story content. We hear that people want more co-op stuff. That's why they gave us Resistance. That's why they gave us the new Westside Piers. They are taking what we say and they're doing something about it. And I cannot give them more props for that.
So they decided to, instead of just adding loot boxes into this game to get your money, they decided to make the game good so that way you will tell your friends to go buy the game so that way they will get money.
Actually, this game does have loot boxes. You know how they do their loot boxes?
How do they do the
completely cosmetic? There is not one single thing in there that actually gives you any sort of bonus.
Oh, yeah, it's like hats and pants and stuff like that.
It's literally just clothing to make your character look different.
Which, you get a shit ton of that when you buy the game. Like, I got the gold edition or whatever, and I have full SWAT gear on my character.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing, is it will give you, like, the gold edition has DLC packs that were microtransactions that are like, pay $5 and you get these 4 or 5 cosmetic sets.
Yeah. But
those do not appear in-game. Those are exclusive to those microtransactions. But in-game, this is the cool thing. So first off, a tip to everyone who plays the Division or is going to play the Division, hit Shift F2 when you're in the game to pull up the overlay, or just go to in your Ubisoft or Uplay application, and there is a Club Rewards. Click on that. If you've played any Ubisoft games, if you own any, you're going to be very happy. They give you a ton of just free rewards. And they give you rewards of, hey, you own this game? Cool. Here's a reward that's themed around that game. Oh, hey, you played this game at one point? Here's some rewards for this game.
You have Assassin's Creed? Here's a Templar cloak.
Pretty much.
I don't know if that's in there. Please let it be in there.
That is unfortunately not in there, but there is.
Damn it, Ubisoft.
There needs to be. But there is stuff for like a Rainbow Six Siege outfit. There is a Ghost Recon Wildlands outfit. Both of those, I do not own those games. They gave me both of those.
Nice.
And if you have any points from the Uplay rewards, you can spend those reward points on more unlocks for the game. And it's just cosmetic stuff or in-game currency stuff. So it's basically playtime that gives you a reward. But there's some really cool stuff in there and some exclusive skins that are only through that rewards program. And it's free. But the cool thing about the way that they do their loot boxes is that you can buy keys to get the loot boxes, but guess what? You get keys. Like, you get key fragments when you kill stuff, and then you pick up, when you get 10 key fragments, it turns into a key, and then that opens a loot box. And that's what I like about this game. It's a great game with a ton of content. It's got a bright future ahead of it, and the good really outweighs the bad. Every game is going to have some bad stuff. For me, it's the PvP, but the PvP is completely avoidable. So,
and we don't know. Maybe they will find a way to fix the Dark Zone. That would be nice because I think it's something that's unique and intriguing to the Division. It is. And I know that they have normal PvP also, like survival and stuff like that. But I'm interested in the Dark Zone. I find that kind of fun.
And that's the thing is...
But you're right. It's not fun if you go against a person who's like got this perfect decked out set to be impenetrable unless you're God.
Exactly. And I do have a second character. I think he's level 11. So I'm trying to get him up to where you are. I think you're level 13 or 14.
Yeah, I'm 13.
If I can get him up to there, we can actually go into the Dark Zone together. And when we do that, I would like to make a little video of kind of here's a route. This is the best route that I have done for farming DZ1, which is the first zone that you can go into, and just kind of showcase that and show you guys what the Dark Zone is like.
Yeah, that sounds
and
awesome.
That way you can explore it with me, and I can show everybody some tips and tricks on that, and we'll probably get ganked and murdered, but that's part of it. And I am going to be uploading some Division videos, some kind of tips and tricks stuff, because it can be an intimidating game, especially when you hit level 30 and you just have no fucking clue what to do. So I'd like to do a video of just kind of breaking down the content that you have access to when you hit 30. But that will be to come. And it's going to be, I don't know, pick up the Division, come play with us. That's all I can say. But yeah, and that's pretty much it for me. Now,
so to sum it up, we like games that reward time, not money.
Yes. Oh, that was one thing I was wanting to tell everybody about. In regards to the Diablo 3 type aspects to it, you can re-roll stats.
Oh, you can.
It's called the recalibration station.
I haven't unlocked that yet, but
you can re-roll stats just like in Diablo 3. You pick one stat on any of the items that you own that are in your inventory, and you can pick one of those stats to re-roll, and it works just like Diablo 3. If you pick one of them and re-roll it, it will give you like 5 options, and there'll be randomized options from that tree. And once you re-roll that one, that's the only one you can re-roll on that piece of gear. It literally,
just like
the underground, the recalibration station, all that stuff, it feels like Diablo 3. And that's what this game is. It is Diablo 3 with guns. and
let's not forget about the greatest part of this game. They do have a weapon skin called Crimson that you can put on your weapon.
That is also true.
That is also true. Just saying.
So that's that's actually why you started playing it again.
And it's a good looking skin
chasing
too.
Onyx, you're chasing that skin.
Anything named Crimson, gotta have
Definitely. It. But on that note, I did want to mention to everybody that RJ did upload a Warframe video on our YouTube page, and we've got links down below for all of that stuff. So definitely go check it out. Crimson, did you have some closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I watched that video, and I did end up downloading Warframe to kind of check it out. It looked really good. He did a great job on the video. I like that he showcased the mechanics of the game first, then showed us some gameplay instead of just showing us gameplay and talk about the mechanics.
Awesome.
By showing us the inside of the ship, it felt a lot easier to follow, and I enjoyed his video immensely. So I downloaded it because I have the Twitch Prime, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to check it out. And we will probably be talking a lot more about Warframe next week. We're going to try to get RJ in here and go through this. I also went to a buddy's house today who has like tons of arcades in his basement, and my buddy's name is Matt. I think he's Sector 6 gaming arcade thing, but he's got a ton of machines down there, and we just had a blast drinking a couple beers, playing some old 80s arcade games.
Nice.
He's got Ajax, Tron. I mean, I realized how terrible I am at Tron. Holy smokes. But so, I mean, he's got it dark. It's got the sounds, man. I'm telling you, for any of you millennial kids out there, if you ever get a chance to go to an arcade, just do it. If you are in the Portland area, go. There are plenty of arcades out there. I know in Omaha we have a barcade. It's not quite the same, but still, you will get to play a lot of fun games that you might have missed out on. And a lot of his cabinets are original cabinets. I can't say how much I enjoyed playing some arcades and just talking shop with Matt. He's a great guy, and I wanted to let him know, hey, look, thank you so much for inviting me over and letting me experience some arcades that I haven't played in 20, 30 years. I truly enjoyed that. And one of the other things that I really want to point out too is, Caleb, you have a personal YouTube.
I do. I'm just kind of messing with it right now, but it is basically for like unboxings and restaurant guides and stuff like that for vegan options in the area. And it's mostly because this area that I'm in, the Springfield, Missouri area, doesn't have a lot of options. So it's kind of tips and tricks and just kind of showing off products and showing off the restaurants and stuff. And I'm going to be doing actual restaurant kind of tours, not like going back to the kitchen, but like, hey, this restaurant has really good options. And I'm going to do a video showing what those options are and my experiences with the foods, because I love me some food.
Dude, I can't wait. I'll be honest, man. When you post pictures of food that you make, I love, those are my favorite posts you post, because it allows me to see how you're taking ingredients that maybe I would see one way and seeing them in a different light. And honestly, helping me eat a little healthier, because some of these things are amazing and they look amazing and they're good for you. That's true. So thank you so much for posting those. I definitely suggest, if any of you guys follow us on Mediocre Gamers Facebook page, also follow Caleb. He has wonderful pictures on food that is simple and easy to make. I'm sure nothing you make is all that hard to make. And it looks beautiful, and I've made a couple of them or tried a similar variant, and they taste great.
And we can put a link to my channel in the description as well. But also, I would suggest for anyone who is interested in kind of looking at that sort of thing, Vegan Zombie on YouTube is a great resource. He is actually one of the people who has helped me the most because he does a lot of buying on a budget stuff, going to stores you wouldn't expect, like Walmart, Dollar Tree, just some crazy places like that. And just showcasing a lot of the good options and items that you can get for a good price. But and if anybody has any questions, message me on Facebook, message me on Discord, anything like that, and I would be happy to impart any information that I have. As for any people who have any grievances or hate mail they want to spew at me because I'm vegan, you can take it and shove it up your ass.
You can send that to me, and I'll just throw it in my spam folder. No, I mean, honestly, in this day and age, any chance we get to eat a little healthier is something we shouldn't ignore.
And it's definitely been the best decision that I have made in my life. But and I am happy to give any resources. Definitely message me, to post in comments on our Facebook page, message me directly, message me on Discord. I'd be happy to give you guys some resources. There's some great stuff out there. And also, back to the arcade thing, if anybody is in the Springfield, Missouri area, we do have a old school arcade called 1984. It is amazing. I've been there a couple of times. I have had a blast every single time. And hopefully we are going to have the owner of 1984 on the show at some point when schedules kind of realign. But
that'd be nice.
And since all of us kind of grew up on arcades, it'd be kind of fun. So
and if you can't get them on the phone or on the show, take your phone, go there. You can set your phone, record it, and I'll plug it in, man. I'll do the editing.
All right, sounds good.
Because, that sounds awesome.
Definitely, and we'll also post a link to their website in the description below as well.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right. Well, as always, thanks everybody for listening, and you can check out our previous episodes at mediocregamers.com, as well as on iTunes and Google Play, and keep up to date with us on Facebook and Twitter at 2mediocregamers, and chat with us on Discord. Links will be posted in the description down below, as we said. And until next time, I'm Caleb.
And I'm Crimson.
Now get out there and play some games.